Hey, welcome back to Buck Junkies. We're talking about all things deer hunting, outdoors, planting food plots. You pretty much name it. We got Mikey, Jamie, and Malcolm in here. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
So today, well, you know, it's kind of the time of year we're not really running out of things to talk, but we ain't hunting. Kind of in a lull when it comes to planting. So we're going to talk about all the things we like cooking, wild game recipes, the good ones, the ones you kind of spit back out on the table, and some we learned from. So we're going to cover all the cooking we can today. That's kind of our background anyway. But other than that, that's pretty much it going to be for this episode. We got pretty much, we ain't on the board this week either.
I caught some fish.
Mikey caught some fish.
You didn't tell me all that.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to let you kick it off then since you're on the board.
It's nothing really to talk about. A few bass, they're biting. So me and Melissa went down to the farm. And we couldn't do anything because it was wet. So she kind of laid out on the levee and got a suntan. We took the dog with us, and I fished around the pond a little bit and caught a few bass. So
You fished the one in the woods yet this year?
I am not doing too good in the one in the woods.
I'm thinking it turned over and we just didn't catch it. Because remember, it was kind of stagnant looking when we were killing trees. It wasn't looking real healthy.
No, it didn't look good the other day either. The one in the big pond though, it's clear. I mean, it looks good over there.
Did we spray algae already?
No,
Hadn't touched it.
man,
Last year.
yeah, I sprayed it last year and killed it.
It worked, too. What was that, alligator grass or something that was coming up around the edges and all that? You didn't do too much. Just rode around it and sprayed a little,
Yeah, I
right?
just held the gun out the window of the side-by-side and sprayed all that grass around the edge of it and those lily pads or whatever was out there.
I know last time I rode up through there, it was no doubt the turtles are back. They were
Yeah.
everywhere.
We seen 2 snakes, too.
Got to get
It's
to
always fun on their shoulders.
got to get to 17 down there and fix that for sure.
What'd
No,
y'all do? Y'all didn't hunt or fish. Y'all just went riding.
we went
right?
riding. Me and Jamie rolled out to Dover, Arkansas, or right outside of Dover, I guess. It's called Max Pines, little campground area. Got a bunch of national forest, and we done a lot of riding, done a little bit of cooking. We had some jambalaya. We done some.
We ate good.
Yeah, we ate real good. But I will say,
Just cooking game.
no, we done. So I took my jambalaya pot because we're going to do jambalaya one night, and one of the guys we were going to for his birthday has that, whatever that tick allergy is.
Oh, man.
He can't eat beef. So we kind of cooked around that. We done turkey sausage and chicken jambalaya, and it was pretty much. I mean, you would never know it was turkey sausage. It was really, really good.
So was it in like a casing or
It
was
was,
just
but
ground or?
it's I forgot what brand she said it was, but it's not but one brand that's in the local stores that's not a pork casing. So I don't know if it's synthetic or what it is. All the other turkey sausage is actually in a pork casing, so you kind of defeat the purpose.
Man, that disease ain't no joke.
No,
It's like I saw something on, I don't know, it was Facebook or wherever earlier.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's hitting so many states. I mean, they got it in Washington, D.C.
well, I mean, look like Brandy's son just this week.
Yeah,
you know,
got it, yeah.
So-
She said he was 9 years old.
Mhm.
He developed it. Middle of the night, Sunday night, had some kind of, woke up, couldn't breathe, hives all over him.
So basically, if nobody knows what we're talking about, it's a alpha something disease, but you get it from a Dallas star tick. I think it's the actual tick.
I don't know which one it
I
is,
have
but that
no
sounds
idea.
right. I'll go with you on that.
But
Yes.
I think it is. But basically, you get bit by the tick. I don't know if it has to stay on you for X amount of time, but once you get bit by that tick, you are no longer able to eat any meat that is a mammal or breastfed. So deer, cow, anything that's, I guess, milk fed as a baby,
yeah.
you're allergic to it now.
Now, y'all talk about being scared of snakes. I'm scared of a daggum tick.
Man, no joke. Hey,
I mean,
I
where
got
was
one.
this
I
at
got
when
one
we
off
were
me the other
kids?
day.
Has it always been around or is this
I
just
don't know.
something
I
that-
know probably about 10 or 15 different people. that
Turned
have
it loose on us, Mikey.
I know, because I mean, I've been eat up with ticks before, you know,
Yeah.
and as a kid and as an adult. And
I can't go out without getting one on me.
You would have freaked out in Arkansas because they was everywhere.
Yeah, ticks were bad.
Which,
Heck, there's that one place we were right over there. There's a tick study.
yeah.
That's right.
We didn't
tick
stop at
study
that
ground. Yeah.
Who in the heck would in the right mind would go in there?
But you know, I found it wasn't the off that you used, but we had an off that Emily found. It was in our razor, and it's old. I mean, it's been there for a while, but it was not an aerosol can, just a regular spray bottle, and it was like kid friendly, had no smell, no nothing. As soon as I sprayed it on, you watch ticks fall off.
Really?
Like, I mean, it worked as good as any. And
I'm still probably allergic to it, though.
you may be.
I'm a
I mean, it's-
repel, man. The repel, the maximum deep, enough to kill anything.
Your skin ought to be like leather.
Yeah.
Much insect spray
I
you use.
have to, man. Mosquitoes eat me up at night, and two, I don't want to get ticks on me.
That's something in Arkansas.
Or chiggers.
No mosquitoes in Arkansas, but they
But
got
you had
gnats.
these gnats.
Gnats is like in your
Oh,
face
yeah.
the whole
That's
time.
bad here this year.
Yeah,
We sat
they are.
outside the house. We sat outside last weekend by the pool. Man, they wouldn't stay off of you.
Gnats.
Yeah.
They were on
Like
us
little
Saturday.
no-see-ums.
Yep, that's
We
how
tried
these
to cook
boys.
out on the
Yep.
deck. They eat my ears up.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, like biting me on my
I don't
ears.
remember them being that bad here early. I don't know if it's because it's so wet, if they're just pushing up, but they got them bad on the coast. But down in Florida and all that, they got them. I guess they're little biting gnats or whatever they're called, no-see-ums.
Yeah.
No see-ums or
Now, you could see these.
I
They
know
was
what you
in your
think.
face. You could see
Dang.
the problem.
dank gnats. We'll just leave it at that.
Dog dingling gnats. But yeah, we was over in Arkansas. We had good weather. Rode a bunch, ate good.
Yeah,
But
the jambalaya pot pretty much was a multi-purpose tool this
I've
weekend.
done tacos in jambalaya pot, and I don't know that I can go back to any other way. That is the best. We cooked beef one night. Sorry, Woody, you didn't get to eat none of that. But
Yeah.
man,
Well, you done chicken.
I done chicken
chicken
too. We
first.
done chicken first and got him some. But
I
he,
think it's just the cast iron makes it.
man, I think it's the round bottom of that cast iron, and using that pattern, you're constantly flipping it in its own grease, and man, it browned that meat up good, and it was tender.
Chicken tacos pretty much on point. I mean, they were good.
I've done the first though. Seen a freaking ghost.
Saw a ghost.
Seen a ghost. I can't explain it. I don't know. Jamie talked about it. Had they been up there before and, said, hey, we're going to go up here and see the Dover lights.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. You told me about that.
And I was
Emily was pretty much about
like, Emily was ready to go back to house.
Yeah,
She was
when-
done.
when
Yeah.
they yelled out that, and all of a sudden you seen the light in the bottom.
So
of the
you
valley.
pull up
Them was
on a-
ready to go.
You pull up on this big mountainside, and it's got like a little brick retaining wall, and you're several thousand feet up. I mean, you can see for a while. Pitch black dark. It was probably 11 o'clock at night. Cut all the headlights off side by side, and you stand up on the brick, and you can't see your hand in front of your face. There's nothing. You might see a star or two. That's it. And you holler out across the bottom, where's the silver? And that freaking lantern comes on, and you see it walking.
So what's the story behind that now, Jamie?
So
back
if
in
I'm
the
telling
day,
it right, it was a guy, a doctor that went and seen this man and woman in their cabin. They were both sick. They didn't have the money to pay him. So they paid him with bullets for his gun or whatever. I don't know if this was 100 years old or how old
Yeah.
it was. And anyway, the doctor got to looking at it once he got home. These bullets are pure silver. So he's
100%
like,
silver bullets.
so he's like, man, it's got to be a silver mine this guy's got up there at his cabin to do this. So he goes back. In the meantime, the husband and wife that helped him out, that he helped out, had passed away. And supposedly this guy's still walking around looking for the silver.
He never come back when he went to go look for it.
because he died.
He
Looking,
died.
looking
We
for
don't
that
know.
silver.
Evidently didn't die because that light was moving the other night.
No, the other night was not dead.
So when you go holler out up there on the
Yeah,
ridge or whatever,
The first time I went was last year, and Chris Woody, buddy of mine, was there. He yelled out, "Hey, where's the silver?" And I'm like standing there, and I don't believe in all this spooks and
yeah,
ghosts and all
spiritual
that.
stuff.
Well, about the second time he yelled it out, there was a light to come on, probably a mile down in the valley. There's no houses down there. We actually rode side by side.
There's nothing there.
nothing but a riverbed down there with running water. And I didn't say a word. This light got pretty bright, and then it dimmed out. Yelled out again, and the light come on, but it's a total different spot. Like I'm talking about a couple hundred yards away from the
Yeah.
first time.
Pretty much, you feel your hair grow.
And man,
How far is it from you? Like, could you get down there and see what it was?
We rode all the way down.
Like at night.
No.
No, you probably could to where the light was. You
I ain't going down there.
They seen that light. It was over
That
with.
was it. I was going back to the truck.
Nope.
We
Soon
was
as-
sleeping in the cabin at night. We sleep in the truck.
I was skeptical, and Emily was like, "This is full of crap." As soon as we hollered it, Emily was like, "Nope." She got inside, but she's like, "I'm ready to go back. Like I'm done." And it kind of went out, and then we hollered it again, and like Jamie says, it'll pop up at a different spot, and it's not like a flashlight. Like it's not
It does look like a dim lantern.
like a lantern flickering.
Yeah.
Kerosene or
Yeah.
oil lantern or whatever.
And then so the next day,
So it's not doing it if you just stand up there watching.
no, we
Nobody
pulled up.
says
It's pitch black.
Yeah,
It's
it
pitch
was
black
nothing
dark.
down there.
Yeah.
It don't do anything till you ask him where's the silver, and
It comes on. He goes walking around looking for it.
I mean, we rode to that bottom of the valley in that riverbed that day. Matter of fact, and it was nothing. It's just a river down there. It's not
And
like
like
houses or cabins. Nothing on the
the
river.
land is pretty much waterlocked. I mean, the way the river flows, like it's probably, me and Brad tried to look up and figure out how many acres it was you're looking at, but I would say you're looking over 2,000 or 3,000 acres. I mean, you can see forever.
You can see the town of Dover pretty much is what.
And like that little island is like a peninsula, and it's only probably 200 or 300 yards wide. That's actually land connecting. The rest of it, the river goes all the way around
Yeah.
it. So really no way to get to it. And we went up there, and then another group went the next night, and they started flicking their lights on the side by side down there, and apparently it didn't like that because it went haywire then. So I don't know, like, yeah.
Look up Dover lights and kind of.
It's pretty interesting.
It's a background.
It's worth
story
going there to see that.
Yeah, all the locals, they firm believer. Like,
Really?
that guy that runs the store, I said to him about it. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's been that way for 40 years. He's like,
I mean, it's a several documents where these scientists have gone out and they're like, something's making this light, and they even
Can't
found
prove
anything.
Now we went there in daylight, and I mean, it's just woods.
Just go down there and camp. Like, stay
You
down
go
there
with
and
me,
let
I'll
somebody else-
go. Me and you'll
I'll
go.
go up top and holler, and you camp.
Yeah, put Mark in the bottom by the
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna see my flashlight bobbing, running.
We'll say, go left, go right. We'll give you some direction. Put you on the radio. Does electronics work there?
Not really.
No.
There's
Oh,
one.
well, this is what's crazy. Jody Woody, she was up there the past 2 times we've been. As soon as you get there, her watch and her iPhone jumps up like 6 or 9 hours.
Hers is the only one that does it, and it's when you pull up at that parking spot.
Really?
I mean, it's
And I ain't trying to like over talk this or make it sound fake, but Brad's wife Jennifer took a picture of all us standing there during the broad daylight, and then she stood up and she done like a panoramic, like scanned the whole valley, just because it's pretty, it's beautiful
Yeah.
up there. Where that light was the night before. Now this is broad daylight. The sun was not shining on us, nothing like that. And when she done in the video, that spot had a bright just in the video, and like when you pass it, and she showed it to Emily, Emily was like, nope. And like you look at
So the
it,
paranormal investigators go down
man,
there.
it's creepy. I'm like Jamie. I'm no like. I'm sure there's spirits or whatever. There's things on this earth we don't understand,
Yeah.
but I ain't buying into that. But that liner was walking. So you cooked some crawfish, didn't you?
I did cook some crawfish this weekend. That's what I did.
Well,
I got by the pool.
You didn't really cook them.
I
You ran out of
soaked 'em.
gas.
Yeah, I did. I got 2 minutes worth of boil on them. That was enough. It was enough. Then I soaked them till they got flavored. I think I ended up soaking them things about an hour and 30 minutes this week because I wanted them to be right. And I'm a firm believer now that you're not gonna mess them up soaking them. As long as you got your temps drop, as long as you got that temp drop down to about 160, and then you just let them go on their own. They were still hot. Hour and a half later. We put them in the cooler, and they were still hot after that. So they're holding temperature. But at the 20-minute mark, like I boiled them 2 minutes and then cut them off, let them soak 20 minutes. We took some out. We always kind of taste them and see. They were flat as they could be. I mean, there was no flavor in them, no juice in the head. I let them go another 20 minutes, checked them again. They're starting to come around. After about an hour and 30 minutes, they were perfect. They were spot on. That's the longest I ever soaked any on purpose,
Were they better than what you judged the week before?
Oh, hands down.
that's
Heck
what I was
yeah.
going to ask. I don't.
No, I mean, Rochelle's like, she ain't never had texture on crawfish like those. They were popping like perfect shrimp. Like when you popped it out, the meat had texture to it. It was unbelievable.
So y'all went to this crawfish
Judging.
contest or judging.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how to judge it. I mean, like barbecue, you're getting a big bite of meat. A crawfish, you get one crawfish.
Yeah. You're going on the flavor, I guess, the texture of the meat, and whatever else you think is a good crawfish to you. I mean, that's kind of what they told us to do it. It's kind of really subjective to the judge. So, I mean, to me personally, I know if it's a good crawfish or not. I can't say. I mean, I want them to have flavor. I want to taste spices in it. I want to taste, something other than salt. But I want to have a little bit of heat without like burning my hands and burning my lips and all that. And I want the heads to be juicy, and I want them to tail out perfect too. I don't want to have to fight them. So that was what I judged on. I don't know. They didn't really instruct us like that, but that's kind of what I got. All these other guys were pros, I guess.
We're going.
Yeah.
We're going to cook it next year.
You want to cook one? Man, there was 5 of them down there that weekend. You could have picked your poison on which one you want to cook.
We're going to be
You
going
want
there.
to pick the one that pays out the most money.
Yeah.
That's the one you want to cook.
Coming down from Mississippi, Yankee Tails. Coming to kick your butt.
Are we going together? We competing?
Oh, well, go. You got to have.
Shoot, I'll break it to about 3 teams.
That's what I was going to say.
Hey,
We'll
A
break
bunch
up.
of them
We'll
there.
all
Make them
compete.
odds better. Top 3.
We all just need to find a central location, and then each of us go to 3 different contests, and we'll just collect 3
See
different
how it
times.
does. There you go. There
That way we
you
don't
go.
beat ourselves.
There you go. You don't need any fancy rigs or anything. Those jokers are just boiling in pots like we got.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing fancy. I was turning them out though.
That's another thing that I thought about too. Is we're used to cooking a handful of sacks for supper. Da 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 da. But you got to be able to master that each time for 400 pounds.
Yeah.
It's It's going to get tricky at some point, you know, keeping the water right where they're consistent, where the first batch tastes like the last batch.
Yeah, as far as what they judged, it was you only got to cook one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. You could have one pot that was like your
Dedicated.
pot.
Yeah, I guess you could do
The
that.
rest of them's your mass public pot, and it don't. I mean, the public's voting now. You want them to taste good because you're trying to get the public vote too. But I think the hardest one to win would be the judging one.
Yeah.
The People's Choice was just how good of a carnival.
Well, you said
partner are you?
that one guy had some tamales. If you gave him a ticket, you
got a tamale. See, yeah,
I'd have turned the ticket in.
Yeah, I'd have gave him a ticket for a tamale. I didn't get to try one. Michael did. He said they were good. Have y'all ever done that?
Mm-mm.
So they take tamales and they wrap them up in foil, kind of make like a loop with the foil, and leave it where the ends could still get water in, so they're not completely closed off. And they drop them in the pot boiling for, I think he soaked them for 10 minutes is all. Once you get your pot boiling, you drop your tamales in there and time it 10 minutes and take them out. You want the juice to flow through it without boiling them to pieces or anything. So
Are they doing it in the crawfish water? Or
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's got to be good.
It's got to be. Oh, they told me about doing ravioli in it, ramen noodles, all kind of stuff.
Who was it told us they done ravioli the other day?
Somebody said something about doing.
They come in the store.
Oh, they
Once
say
they get
raviolis
done-
just jam up in it.
Is that they drop
You have to put them in like a, I don't know, like a mesh strainer. Like you just get a mesh strainer that you can hook on the side and sit down in there to where the water will come in it. You cook them in that, but you're not cooking them very long.
No.
It don't take ravioli 10 minutes to cook either.
We get Memphis and May behind us.
Start experimenting. We'll be boiling all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, Mikey, you had an eventful time getting the drill down the road, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where we caught up at on the farm? Are we seeding ground yet?
We're seeding ground. Yeah, we've got the
Where it's dry.
Yeah, so getting the seed drill down there last week was that was a lot of fun.
If you was on interstate last week and you was cussing somebody, it was Mikey.
Yeah, me and Chuck, we hauled the roller and the seed drill down the interstate. I don't know if that was legal, but we went down through there. So I was kind of running like a blogger behind Chuck because this thing is way bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's what,
I think
12,
it's
12 foot wide?
13 foot something wide at the wheelbases. And so he, at certain places, he'd have to get over in the middle of the road.
Clear bridge.
Yeah, so I would kind of move over in the middle of the lane to keep people from just trying to blow by him. And anyways, we pissed some folks off pretty good.
How fast was he running with that thing?
60.
I can't believe he done that.
That's fast to be hauling something like that.
Yeah,
Man, if you'd left that thing engaged, it'd be throwing out some seed.
he did. Yeah, he left the house. It was engaged.
Oh man,
And he got about a mile down the road, and he was like, "Man, I heard it squealing." He said, "I knew what I done." He said, "I just told you don't do that. And why do you do this? And if you're traveling with it, try not to leave it engaged. You're gonna be running fast." And he said, "I just did it."
So does it drive off the tires or does it drive off the spikes?
It drives off of the. Let's see.
Because it's got the aerator up front, don't it?
No.
No. This has no aerator. It has cutting wheels. It has a tube that comes down behind the cutting wheel that drops the. Let's see. No. It's got the cutter. It's got a little V shape. I don't even know what the name of that is, but it cuts a V in the ground and the seed drops in like right through there. And then the little cultipacker wheel comes behind. It's got a wheel that's probably about 4 inches wide that just mashes the V back together and leaves the seed.
So what's turning it? PTO or
No.
No, it's
drives
running
itself.
off of once everything sets on the ground, it starts turning. One of those axles or whatever is
It's
engaged and it
if you
turns
say it'd
it.
be your,
But your tires, you jack them up.
Yeah, you
It's
put,
not on the highway tires out in the field.
Yeah.
no, when you set it down, it's off the tires, but
Yeah.
that you engage it off the end of the tire, like on a hub on a four-wheel drive truck or something. You
I
twist it
gotcha.
and engage it, and so it's got to be off of the.
it's on the driver's side, technically be driver's side.
Yeah, so that engages everything, starts making everything turn.
So he puts.
But if the wheels are up, it's engaged.
He put some heat to it.
Oh yeah, he
At
did.
least it wasn't nothing resisting it. It was just going down the road.
But yeah,
It's
we
pretty
That
big.
was,
It's way bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
hadn't seen it yet.
It's probably too much for your place.
Which the
can't get
because the trails ain't big. That
You
big.
can't.
I mean, it's-
I was dragging off the road. Went by the mud hole stand, which is probably the nearest part of the road.
yeah, where it goes over the culvert.
Yeah, as soon as you go over when you go past the culvert, starting up the hill, both wheels are hanging.
Pretty much off the edge of the road.
Yeah, they're
Edge of the road.
off the edge of the
straddling
road,
the road.
but they're just barely catching that loose gravel on the side, and it's your little cutting wheels and stuff are almost in the gravel.
Yeah,
So you have to be careful. It's a little too big for down there.
They probably won't cross the ditch on new ground, probably.
Man, I'm scared. I don't know. I'm worried it's going to bottom out as you come down that angle and start back up when it changes that pitch.
Yeah, it's got them step rocks too right there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, we got it down there, and so we talked about this buffalo system and all that. And we'll have pictures up on Facebook of all that stuff and what it looks like. But
the crimper's pretty massive too. It ain't
as big as I thought it was though.
No, it's not a
wide.
big round. It's just heavy. Like when you pick it up with the tractor, you know you got it.
See, I didn't know.
You gotta be careful going up hills; it'll pick front wheels.
I didn't know it was on the 3-point hitch. I thought it just drug behind it like a trailer. You know, I didn't know it was. You can lift it and put pressure on it. And
you set it on the ground.
Yeah, you set it on the ground where you're just pretty much pulling it.
Yeah.
You know, you let the
and the fins on it, just the blades
on
turn
it, just start turning. Yeah, so it's full of water, so it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
But we got all that. I got that done. Ran the planter through the buffalo system, so our wheat and ryegrass and our cereal rye is about chest to neck high in different places, and run it through there, cut all the seed in with that, and then come back and roll it back down. So now we've got that set. We've got a few other fields planted. That
you're running a crimper first and then a drill.
Drill first.
Seems backwards to me.
Well, if you run the crimper first, because the crimper is not as wide as the drill, you're going to overlap. So it's kind of like combing your hair.
Yeah, it's got laid down.
If you comb it down and lay it down, and you're coming against the grain, it's going to stand.
You'd have to make sure
up.
you were rolling the same direction.
Yeah. Right.
It'll tangle up. What it'll do, it'll get wrapped. All that stuff will get wrapped around the wheels, and now you ain't planting.
So,
because it looks good like that. Did you see the pictures that Mikey shot on his phone? It looks really good. I mean,
so do you want the wheat and everything seeded out? It's going.
It didn't come to seed.
No, it didn't get dry enough to seed. You catch it when
it's still got
moisture in it.
Yeah. So you ain't got to worry about the wheat replanting.
No, you just cut the nutrient to it. Is what you did.
Yeah.
So it's going to lay there and turn to mulch.
Yeah, the seed hadn't matured in the head yet.
Yeah, it's still, they call it milky stage. Like you take that seed head and you mash it between your fingernail and your finger. It's kind of got a juice to it. Yeah. That's where you want to roll it. You don't want it to dry out.
No,
because if you did, it'd go to seed and it'd come up. Yeah. So you got to catch it. But the trick is you got to get the ground the right temperature too, because you don't want the ground to be too cool. You want it to be like 60 degrees, 65 degrees. Where we're at.
We use a thermopin for that too.
Stuck it down in there and make sure you shot it.
Oh, baby.
We'll see. This is our first attempt at it.
But we'll have some. We're going to document and have pictures and things like that. You know, after all this, and kind of post some of those things on Facebook, and that way people kind of see, and if they want to see how ours is doing,
the different mixes.
Yeah. So we planted different mixes. Of course, we came up with one. And then local seed company had one that they recommended for us. They're
both kind of similar. We just had a few things other in ours that theirs didn't.
We put clover in ours, and they did not. Both had buckwheat in it. Both had beans, cowpeas, vetch.
There's two different types of vetch, right?
Oh, a bunch of different types.
There's a bunch of them.
So that's what we noticed when we was up there. When we were out at Max Pines, it's all national forest. So several of the places we rode, you could tell, all right, they burnt that this year.
Yeah, it was prescribed burning.
Yeah, they might have burned it last year, and you kind of went to different spots that were, hundreds of acres of burnt. And, man, what was burnt this year that to me looked like was burnt this year, it was pretty fresh. Vetch was everywhere. I mean, it looked like carpet everywhere. Their pines weren't nearly as thick as ours.
But they've gone in and select cut like we want to do,
But it was neat because you could see the stages. You could see what come in, after 2 years of, doing the burn, or 3 years, or, hey, they're fixing to burn it again. You could see the different, like, forest, how they were and stuff. And it was pretty interesting.
Oh, it's definitely green everywhere.
Vetch is pretty, what is it, common vetch? We're actually planting a deer vetch.
It's joint vetch or deer vetch is what it's called. It produces, it actually has like a little legume that it makes.
Yeah, a little bean.
But but it's supposed to be as high, I don't know if it's as high protein as soybeans, but it's up there.
It's got a lot in it.
And it has a lot of browse tolerance. That's why guys started using it. I mean, I don't think it's got a crop value like a field full of soybeans would, but for monetary reasons, but just for growing for wildlife, it's great for them. But it runs like crazy too, so you're not gonna have perfect rows of it or anything. It's fixing to
it looks kind of viney. I mean, this will be the first time I've ever seen that, I mean, y'all seen Vetch up there. So, I mean, you've seen Vetch around your mailbox and stuff in the springtime. If you go down the side of the road, there's usually
Looks like
Vetch
a little
growing.
fern.
Yeah, it looks like a long, stringy-looking piece of fern. I think they actually have purple flowers on them. Little bitty purple flowers every now and then pop out on them. And that's actually a Vetch there, but the different kinds of it, they look different. But they are drought tolerant and browse tolerant, and anybody that's got a high population of deer, this is recommended by our biologist to put in.
Yeah,
we're gonna put it to a test then.
Oh yeah, we're gonna say because you did one. I mean, it's in both mixes, but it's only like 15%.
Right.
So, but we went straight vetch.
Yeah, I planted
in about
one
2
whole field of
acres.
vetch.
Yeah, just to see what. So it's going to tell us if that 2 acres thrives. We'll put a cage on it, see how it does against the browse. But you can take more of it too because it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive to plant, so we're going to see how it does compared to in a mix or whatever.
And it's a small seed, so it's
There ought to be plenty to roll when it gets done too.
yeah.
And that's the whole goal. We want it to be protein for the deer to eat during the summer, but we also want some foliage to roll down when it comes time to put in the fall plots.
That's the only thing that scares me about but we're testing that stuff. So
Yeah, how you roll that down?
Well, yeah, that, and if it gets heavy browse, maybe that's a preferred thing to them, and all our deer go over there and eat all the vetch.
Yeah.
Which I doubt it, but
It's not going to happen in our area right now because they're just not used to eating it. They might not touch it. I've seen some studies where it's like guys plant it and they say first year they didn't get nothing to eat it.
It's like a
Second
new
year-
restaurant town.
Yeah, then second year they kind of started, and then by third year it was preferred. So it's like anytime you plant something new, they don't know what it is. Evidently, they know what soybeans and cowpeas
I
are
guarantee it.
definitely.
because they will mow them to the dirt.
I've been seeing more and more. Have you seen the big group of does at the house? It's been here. It just showed up about 3 weeks ago.
We've had a bunch of deer in the yard.
We've
the
had
past
We've
2
had
months.
3 that stayed all winter right there in the front yard
Doe
between mine and
Queens,
Jamie's.
they was
Yeah.
out there this morning, matter of fact.
Well, then, heck, the other day I walked out the front yard and the whole bottom between my house and Jamie's was full. I've never seen that many deer on our property in one location.
What's coming up out there now?
Clover.
Clover.
Yeah, I planted clover
Yeah.
2
years
So
ago.
they own something.
Yeah, it's clover. And then that we got I guess I don't know what them little yellow flowers are. They've been wearing them out on my driveway though.
Oh, those bright yellows.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's just a wildflower, but they're
weed
eating 'em.
Is what it is. It'll die out after it gets hot,
Yeah.
but the turkeys love them. And I've killed turkeys with them yellow flowers in them.
They eat that flower.
They have it in their craw.
You saw a few gobblers, did you?
Yeah, I seen 4 yesterday, and then Friday when I was down there planting, there was one standing in the south trunk field. That little strip of clover I left in those yellow flowers. He was standing out there just pecking. He let me ride right up on him before he took off running. Those 4 didn't know. They were all together, and when I come over the hill, they tore out, ran from the whaling stand, and then later on that afternoon, I come back around behind the mark plot stand, and they were all standing right there, and they all ran off.
Thought you had that 12 gauge with you, didn't they?
Well, they were in season Friday. They were out of season yesterday.
Oh yeah.
They know too.
Y'all see no gobble gobble dude on TikTok?
I
That
did.
thing kills me, man.
The one talking about don't guide the guide.
I'm guide to guide.
I will kill you or get you a turkey. Quit telling me
He
where
got
we need
9
to go.
acres.
That's the
He
one.
can hold
that- yeah.
12. He can put 12 people on it.
That was what was funny. He was standing up there and he had that look on his face. He
We
was
will
like,
ground check.
if y'all are all here and you're questioning, it is 9 acres here. I know there are 12 or 15 of y'all here. You're wondering where's everybody going to hunt. Don't worry about that. We're just blasting and killing turkeys. That's all we're worried about.
So we will ground check 'em.
Yeah. We're
Pull
just
the Jake brakes we have to.
Yeah, pull the Jake brakes.
He had
Man,
me.
that guy had me crying.
Oh, I was hurting. I can't remember what his channel is. It's hilarious.
Well, Jamie, you want to give them a recap real quick? What all Malcolm's grand ideas we covered last week?
What did we talk about last week?
Man, the deer stand safety.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't get hemmed up.
Yeah, this is a good one for Jamie, too. He's got the carpenter skills down.
Yeah, probably the second worst thing other than the game warden is wasp on here. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Game warden.
I didn't put him on there. Not this week. We'll save that to next year.
But no, like I say, just going in and get the stand situated. Make sure all your steps are good. Malcolm had a bad experience with the steps last year, but
I'll sure him up this year.
yeah, get the steps fixed up, get the wall knocked back, and
We need to
everything
get
ready
that
to go.
sprayed too. I'm glad. Do we got any? We still got some of that
Oh, yeah.
white stuff down there.
Bison.
Bison,
Bison, whatever it is.
bison, however you say it.
Just don't get it on you.
Oh man, it's good. Don't worry. Charles told
It didn't hurt me. I was spraying the house, and it was raining on me. But I did go in and take a bath as soon as I got through spraying. But it's not good.
I would tell you how I sprayed it around my house, but they probably wouldn't like it. I had it in one of them hose sprayers where you just pour it and it self mixes.
Yeah.
I think that's frowned upon pretty well.
Letting it roll like that.
Well, I think they're worried about what backfeeding in the water system.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if y'all get to twitch around my house, it might be from that.
I got a well. We'll just monitor Emily.
Yeah, there you go.
Run Mark some jugs of water.
Yeah, if she gets twitchy or start turning color to purple or something.
Well, today we're going to talk about cooking. That's something we all got a background in, and very seldom do I run out of things to do with deer meat, but there is times where you go in the deep freeze and you're like, crap, how'd this backstrap get in here from 2 years ago? Or it slipped by you or whatever. But
I like them days.
yeah, hey, we finna thaw it and cook it now.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I mean, I guess used to all we knew was bacon wrapped deer meat, Italian dressing, and Dale's, and we've kind of
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's a solid.
That's
It's a solid.
Yeah.
But we've ventured out a little bit more. We've become, I guess, better cooks and tried different recipes and kind of go over some things that we've cooked that's been real good, some things that maybe not have. I've had some pretty bad ones that we didn't cook it, but somebody might have cooked for us. But
They cook the deer, clean out the deer steak.
yeah, I've seen that plenty of times.
Where was we at? That was goat. That wasn't deer.
Oh,
Yeah, that was.
I don't
good.
think that's wild game.
No,
it might
it
have been in
wasn't.
that area, but
That was
no.
goat days.
I walked in the trailer and Malcolm was trying goat, and he darn near turned it loose.
Oh, is it Millington?
Yeah.
It's goat days.
Yeah, Millington.
And I walked
got
in,
days.
he was green
I
as
wanted
can
you
be.
to try it bad.
He's like,
too.
man, try it. It's pretty good. And I said, you're still green. And I'd get it close to him. He'd go, man, it's good. Just try it. No, I ain't trying it.
People do have a habit of doing that barbecue contest. They want everybody to try.
Put something right in front of you.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
try
and
this.
stand there and wait on you.
Yeah, yeah.
You gonna eat it?
I don't wanna
Just eat.
insult
Give me a
you.
minute.
Yeah. Got to dip in. So I keep.
That's
a
what I
dip.
tell 'em.
You got to dip. I'll
dip
try it in
in.
a minute. I got to dip.
If I've ever told you how to dip in, I was just
It's
kidding. Your stuff was good.
I try not to force nothing on nobody.
Uh-oh.
You want to try it? That's cool. But
What's one thing, like, you learn quickly. You watch people cooking, and you're like, man, I just don't know. I don't know if I trust that method.
yeah.
That was the same wash tub you used for chicken. Now you want me to
You
eat?
don't know about the procedure.
I don't know
right?
about this.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But no,
What's-
we mainly cook deer and duck. We do a little fish here and there. As far as wild game, that's pretty much our wheelhouse, I would say. I mean, I've cooked elk and stuff that people gave us to try.
Elk's great.
It
I'll
is.
tell you.
Yeah, it was really good.
Surprisingly, there's one Neil guy that Charles had gave
Yeah.
me some. Man, that was some really, really good red meat.
It ain't
I don't
really,
know. It's not wild game to the U.S., but I guess it's
That is
it's
an
an
ugly
exotic.
animal.
Yeah, they're huge
But they
too.
had a little bitty head.
From India,
Oh,
yes.
That's what they were talking about on
Yeah.
Meat Eaters. One of the hardest
Yeah.
animals to kill in the States right now.
Really? Why?
Because they have like an armor plate, just like a wild boar.
Oh, really? Over their shoulder or vitals?
So, and something about their vitals are not located the same.
same place.
Like their heart's like almost up in their brisket or something like that. Like it's all,
Yeah.
you have to shoot them totally different. And there's a bunch of people like out west that have them that, man, if you're not shooting a 300 mag or
Put
bigger,
that old wind mag on him. He can blow his leg off and follow him a little while. But
but that's one of the hardest
no, they
animals.
weigh about 1,200 pounds.
They're
It ain't like,
big.
yeah, it ain't. It's about the size of a cow.
But the head don't match the body.
No.
No, yeah, it's got a
Unfortunately.
weird looking head on it. I guess you only kill them to eat them because it ain't like it's really a trophy. I mean, what's trophy about it?
I don't
Don't have a big rack, I don't think, does it?
They got the same, like
Yeah.
a spike. I mean, it's the same horns, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're little weird animals. They say they eat
They ain't
good.
little, but they do. I mean, it's as good as elk.
I've had it, I think I had some ground, and it's leaner than whitetail.
Yeah.
The piece, at least what I had was, but no, it was good. I've become a fan of cooking the backstrap whole and doing it just like a beef tenderloin. And, you know, I let it kind of
I
sit,
did dry age on it. It's money. It's real good.
let it dry age, put a little salt on it the night before, and then just reverse sear it, whatever it takes. And man, it's tender as can be. And that's probably, if I'm grilling it, that's probably how I'm doing it. I done got away from the bacon. It's a good bite. Bacon wrap's good, but I like cooking a whole backstrap.
I'm with you. You get better crust on it than the outside. That's the way I started doing them. I want you to tell me about some coon.
You want me to tell you about Coon?
Yeah. What's your best coon recipe, Mikey?
Man, I've never actually cooked a coon.
You never cooked one?
No,
Come on now.
No, Mama always cooked them. So I mean, we didn't get them, but it was always barbecued. So
That's the only way I've had it.
Most time you boil it and then finish it off on the grill.
Yeah, she was boiling hers, or she would put it in a crock pot.
We had a big roaster.
Yeah,
That's the way I had it.
And leave it in there pretty much all day. Just cook it to death.
So it's falling off the bones.
Yeah.
Ain't there like a bunch of glands you got to make sure to get out?
Yeah,
of
yeah. You got to clean. Yeah, you got to know how to clean it. And once you put it in there,
I like eat a big tomcat, ain't it?
No, it's actually really good. No, it's really good.
I've had it. It's all right. I've had barbecue coon tacos.
They leave the feet on them so you know that's what you're eating.
So you know it's a kid. It ain't got a ball.
But yeah, the coon
Cook
barbecue.
the coon right out of
I
it.
like it. But it would probably be better to do it like what Jamie's talking about, where you boil it, get it tender.
Yeah.
And
that's how I had it.
And then stick it on the grill.
Yeah, and this barbecue sauced it up. It's pretty good.
That's kind of the way I've seen people do squirrel. Seen them boil squirrel like that and then grill it.
My pawpaw loved squirrel brains. And I can remember as a kid going up to my grandmother's house.
She boil them?
She would be in there and boil them, and I didn't know any better. And of course, I'm nosy, want to go see what's on the stove. And I flipped that lid open, that old brain, that old head just looking at
can't
you.
do this.
When you pop it with the spoon, bust it open, get it out?
Yep. Squirrel brains and eggs.
Yeah.
There was a guy I worked with.
He said hot sauce.
He said it was lunchtime. They done got through eating, and this guy was walking around. He said it looked like he had a jawbreaker in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, what are you chewing on? And he went, "Poof." And it was a squirrel head. He been walking.
He was savoring that one. Yeah. He was working on that.
I was like, man, I'd have lost
trying to get you to dinner.
He said, man, that thing still had eyeballs and everything in it. He just sucking on it like a jawbreaker. Ready to go, Tyler? That was bad, wasn't it?
That was supposed to be the ugly part. We got to get the good first.
Oh, we better get in the good.
We got to get the good first.
Get in the good. So, what's your favorite deer recipe? You ought to give yours.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you, one of the best ones I've had, and David Magnus did it at Memphis in May one year, where he takes the inner loins and he runs them through a tenderizer.
Yeah.
And he'll run it through a couple times and turn it to where it makes it pretty much a flat steak that's tenderized, but it's the whole inner loin, and you need several of them. He says they use theirs, they kill them and put them up and have one cooking on it every year, but they marinate them. They season them up. They make a bacon, onion kind of caramelized jam to go on top of it. And the sauce that he uses is just like a sweet barbecue sauce. I think he mixes like syrup and barbecue sauce, maybe some Worcestershire or something together. And when you grill the steak first, at the end you put the sauce on it, glaze it a little bit. Then you hit it with that bacon jam, and then you put cheese over the top of it and melt it. And, dude, I'm telling you, that's some fine deer.
It was a good bite.
It's, as far as one of the best bites of venison you could ever have. That right there is jam up.
If you don't like that, you just don't like eating.
Yeah, you don't like eating. But, man, it's good. It's kind of sweet. It's savory. It's got the bacon notes from the jam. You got the onions with it. You got the creaminess from the cheese. And his inner loin. And his inner loin, so it just melts in your mouth. Good. I mean, tenderized inner loin, you know it can't be bad.
Was it what kind of salt? Well, it was a reduction, too. It was like a...
No, it was the onion and bacon jam.
I thought he had like a balsamic drizzle or something over the top too.
He may have on that.
I can't remember.
He may have on that one.
One of
them he did on the fillet.
Yeah.
The other one was the inner loin for the exotic. So that was one of my favorite ones that I've had. I mean, I'm like Mark. I like cooking backstraps whole, and I'll take them to about 120. I like to kind of get them seasoned up on the outside. If you want to wrap them in bacon, that's fine. But I think if you just dry brine them, put some seasoning on them, let them hang out in the refrigerator on a rack.
Yeah.
Give them air room to get around it. It does something to that meat. It starts breaking it down. Put some seasoning on the inside of it, and then you cook it rare. Man, it's fine.
The only thing I noticed with deer meat, and maybe just me, is that it doesn't. To me, deer meat doesn't like pepper. Like very little black pepper will go a long ways. Not like beef. You can hammer a ribeye with black pepper, and you never know it. You put just a little bit of black pepper on deer meat, and to me, it just amplifies it.
Yeah.
It's a lot stronger, more pungent.
I'm back to the basics.
Fried rat.
Heck yeah,
fried deer,
fried deer with gravy.
Yeah,
basic.
We've got a lot of recipes for deer, but I'm kind of with Jamie on some of that. Just the basic is probably my favorite.
I like
those
the
steaks we
taste.
did that day down at camp.
Yeah,
we opened them up and they look like sirloins, or those.
And we just grilled them like you would a steak,
medium rare, and pulled them off. Man, that's the way I like it. Now, is that the best recipe? Probably not. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, no, I thought we threw a little marinade on it.
It's simple.
Season it like you would a ribeye.
I like to taste the game.
The whole trick with it to me is when I learned how to cook deer meat was don't overcook it.
Yeah.
And if you're cooking a whole shoulder or a bigger roast or something, you either got to commit and break it all the way down, or if you're cooking your steaks, thinner cuts, you got to cook them hot and fast and don't overcook them. Because there's no in between to me. There's no, medium well done deer meat like that. It ain't worth crap.
That's the same like duck. You ever cook duck? That's when you get that
duck's the same way too.
taste.
Yeah.
To me, I think a deer roast blows a regular chuck roast out of the water. To me, it does.
Roast this weekend, Mark. I don't know.
That roast this weekend was pretty good.
Well, chuck roast got fat to it. That's what deer don't have. I like deer roast. Don't get me wrong. We cooked a good one this year too.
But it just, you do like that Mississippi pot roast recipe. Throw some butter and a couple of pepperoncinis off in there. And
Ranch pack and some
it's good as anything. A lot of that's making the gravy, though.
Yep.
Deer meat to me cooked down makes some of duck does too. I guess it's that gamey makes a better gravy.
Gravy, yeah.
That's one thing I still want to try in your aluminum pots where you, what do they call it, where you put the meat in there, don't put nothing but water, brown it, let it cook the water off, put more water, and it eventually makes like a gravy with nothing but water. Yeah. It's water and meat is all it is, but it makes a gravy.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call that recipe, but some kind of Cajun term. Looks good, though.
I'd definitely try it, for sure.
Well, Mikey kind of hit on the small game with the coons, and squirrels. I guess one thing we didn't think about was
frog recipe.
Frog legs.
I got a good frog recipe.
About time to go get some frogs, ain't it?
Yeah, probably gonna wind up buying them.
Yeah.
we tried last year. I'm not lying. We tried hard.
We needed some frog plots.
Yeah.
Well, when I was down there fishing the other day, there's a big one on the big pond.
Yeah.
You could hear him. When I pulled up, I stopped, got out, got my fishing poles, tied my stuff on, and he went to Beller.
Yeah.
I told Melissa, I said,
he won't make a peep at night.
No, he won't say nothing.
I don't think there's frogs
like they used
around.
to be.
Well, see,
it's on golf courses, and you get kicked out of them.
I think they keep those big herons and things run off the golf courses while they're there.
Yeah.
I had one of those adventures one time when I was in high school. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, we're gonna go frog gigging." I said, "All right." He said, "If you don't mind, just wear some black clothing." I was like, "Frog ain't gonna freaking see me. So I ain't worried about the frog seeing you. He just wear black clothing." I said, "All right."
Security guard see you.
Security guard.
Man, we was in the middle of almost downtown Memphis in an industrial park, walking around.
Retention pond.
Man,
was it loaded with frogs?
Yeah, we filled the cooler up. Yeah. And a couple weeks later, I took Mikey and Thomas, my other brother-in-law, up there.
Did I get caught?
We was turkey peeking. So somebody would stand up and look out on Shelby Drive and watch for cars go, and we turn the lights on and they go to gigging, and then we'd stop, and everybody duck down and the cars go by. We'd stay back up.
Man, if we had videos of that. Are those retention ponds still there?
Yeah. I guarantee it's still frogs. The security guard come up the first time we went, and he pulled up and said, "Man, what are y'all doing?" I said, "Oh, we're getting some frogs." He said, "I won't say nothing. You give me a couple of them. I can get all you want." We gave about 10 or 12 of them. We kept on gigging.
We got caught at me and Thomas got caught at Hollywood Casino going behind there.
Now, them frogs down there big as your paper plate.
Oh, yeah. I done seen them. I had come out of the casino and walked around the far end, the dark end of the casino to go to my truck. I was parked on the far end, and we went there and eat or something one night, and I come out, and I could hear them frogs, and I walked down there, and I said, I got to go see where they're at. And I walked down there, and you could
Curiosity.
Yeah, they were up against the casino and out in this little retention pond out past. And I said, "We're coming back tomorrow."
Coming back.
We came back. Man, that security guard ran out on me. I had that 10-foot pole, that gig on my shoulder. He said, "Man, what are you doing with that spear? Where are you going?" And he was like ready to draw his gun.
Going to take the cage.
Yeah. I was like, "Look, man, it's okay. It's not a spear."
You didn't tell my nigga I'm the exterminator. They done hired me, Mikey Dyer exterminator.
Well,
D&D nuisance.
D&D nuisance. Yeah, I've got some of these nuisance frogs out here. I'm going to relocate them. Hot grease.
Yeah.
You got to be thinking fast, Mikey.
I know. I wouldn't. He surprised me because I think he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing and stepped out of the dark over there. He said, "What are you going with that spear?" I said, "Whoa, where'd you come from?"
Come on, I'll show you. That's what you get. Come on, I'll show you.
You wasn't down here last night. So I had to explain to him what I was doing.
Did he let you go?
No.
Did he run you off?
No, he didn't run me off. He was like, "Man, I can't let you go down in that thicket. There's snakes and everything down in there."
No, he's worried about, he thought you was that husband of who he was in the bushes
That's
with.
what I was thinking to say. His girlfriend was probably hiding in the thicket down
She
there.
right there went down to
She
the
took off running. Here comes somebody.
Oh, man.
You probably look like a frog running across.
Have you ever grilled any frog legs?
That's the way I do them.
Let's hear it.
I take them and brine them in beer, salt, pepper, and a little hot sauce.
They cook quick.
and they cook quick. You just make a real thin.
Almost like a scampi, like a frog leg scampi kind of.
Kind of, yeah. So what I do is I'll pour barbecue sauce, mix whatever you brine them in, a little, kind of the same mixture, a little beer, salt, pepper, hot sauce, and then put barbecue sauce in there and make a really, really thin barbecue sauce, and just kind of paint them with it and let it set on there. It don't take long. I mean, it don't take long at all.
Just
minutes,
one flip. It's
Man,
about like cooking
You ain't got to
shrimp,
flip
really.
them. They'll
You can
flip
put
yourself.
both legs in.
Yeah, I like that.
You got to have a grilled lid on it.
Hop off.
Hop off. Oh, yeah.
When they start.
Only way I've ever ate them's fried, but I figured if anybody grilled them, y'all have.
Yeah, they're good.
I've never grilled them. I've never fried them. I've been around Mikey's when he's cooked them, and I like them. They're good.
Yeah, they are good. It tastes like, I mean,
I don't
Tastes
want
like
a fried
chicken
one
fried
after
chicken.
that.
what?
I don't want no fried
Oh,
one
after you
that.
barbecue grilled?
Mm.
Barbecue grilled frog legs.
First weekend back at camp, when we're doing something in the
Video.
spring, I'm getting some frog legs.
Yeah, we'll have to go get some.
Don't
Our
worry.
luck on frog gigging
Yeah.
sucks.
You know,
When I was a kid, there was a
kinda
lot
like
of places
snipe
to get them, though. I mean,
Oh,
you
they
go to
do.
any little cow pond and get, 4 or 5 frogs off a cow
Hey, now
pond.
on
and
the
just-
cow ponds, the subdivisions now.
I know, yeah. So
that's true.
you could just walk from the house within 30 minutes of the house, walking or,
You think
ride
we
a
could,
four-wheeler. and
We
get
could
'em
get
on
us a late tea time on the golf course.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Have the frog gigs in the golf bag. Be good to go.
It's a little pond up there at South Haven by the movie theater.
Expandable frog gig.
Yeah. I've
I
eyeballed that one a bunch. It's got a lot of garbage in it,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
You got to watch them, don't you? We thought we had one spotted out last year down the road a piece, but
What about
it worked out.
I went down there and shined it a couple
Yeah,
times. I never could.
see.
Yeah, I think I don't know what it is getting the frogs. It's something.
Yeah.
They're just not where they should be at.
if you got frogs, you got snakes, and if you got snakes, you probably still got frogs.
Do them otters eat frogs?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, probably.
They're hunters. I think those. Well, I was saying those herons or whatever. they
Yeah,
get
I've
on
seen them on the
and
ponds,
we've had
too.
them on ours out there.
Yeah.
We'll have to go check the pond down there across from Allen where they dug when they done the treatment plant.
Oh God, no.
Not the treatment plant.
No, I'm talking about across the road. I fished that 2 years ago.
Oh.
You can't even fish it. Them willow trees are up in there so thick you can't even.
No treatment
there's so
plant.
many-
I don't want no
That's
treatment
good-
plant
that's
frog.
a good frog. A four-legged frog.
That's dark meat frog.
They glow in the dark. You ain't
Yeah.
got to use no light.
Yeah.
They might be too big. It's all right. So
Doo doo frog.
Yeah.
that's going to kick us off into your worst wild game you ever ate. I mean, doo-doo frog got to be pretty close to the top if you had
Doo-doo
one,
frog.
but I ain't never had a doo-doo frog.
The worst that you could not eat.
I cooked it.
Oh, really? Was it?
It was deer. Me and Thomas had just moved out. We'd both moved out of our parents' house. We was living together. Of course, me and him hunted and fished. So we had killed a deer, and my mama she never really let me cook at home a whole lot. So it was kind of self-taught, when I moved out, I got tired of eating bologna sandwiches. Anyways, so me and Thomas had killed a deer, and we took the back straps out. Of course, we'd been around Jamie and Fate and them cooking them, Dales and all this stuff. So me and Thomas cut this whole tenderloin up, invited some folks over, friends of ours, stuck it in the bag. Uncut Dales, the whole bottle of Dales down in the bag, stuck it in there. Well, I fried it. You couldn't eat that stuff.
I guarantee you it was salty.
Man, it was black as this chair.
Oh,
It
man.
was so black when I was cooking it. That Dales was just
coming out
out
of
the
it,
top of
ruining
it.
the grease and everything.
Oh yeah, and we all tried to eat it, and it was so bad.
Back to bologna
It
sandwiches.
was bad. I mean, you
had to
talking about spitting it out? You couldn't hold it.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
I guess the worst I ever did was I tried to do a deer meatloaf with some old ground one time, and it wouldn't help. Man, it was back me and Rochelle, just married and
Still trying to impress
living
a
on
little bit.
but living on little hard times. We had,
yeah.
but I always had some deer meat in the freezer. And
Me, I can
man,
pick that. I'm not the best on flavors and smells, but freezer burnt deer meat. is the
That's
worst
what
smell
this
ever.
was. It done got old. I don't know if somebody gave it to me or what, but man, I swear that meatloaf turned green, and it was. We couldn't. I forget what we did. I think we ate ramen noodles that night. It was a bad night, but we did not make it through the deer meatloaf.
The worst thing I personally
rough.
cooked wild game it would have freezer burnt deer meat. But as far as eating, goes back to that story a couple weeks ago. That swordfish, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's
Didn't
the
have
worst.
worms, did it?
Man, I didn't keep my mouth long enough to tell.
What was
Probably-
that? Just fishy.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah, it was
rotten.
old. Oh,
That
yeah.
was rotten.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was a 2-year-old swordfish.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Been in there a while.
Yeah, I think he was in the bottom of the freezer.
Probably
I
one
don't
of the-
mess with, man, I don't like froze fish like that. I like if we go deep sea fishing. I mean, you always hear people say want to bring coolers of it home. You better have a plan for it because it ain't going to keep very long. I've never had luck with it.
I've never seen anybody do it. I've never heard it. But the last time we went deep sea fishing, the deck can we had asked if we were going to freeze it pretty quick. He said, if you're going to freeze it, to freeze it in the salt water.
Yeah, no, you don't wash it when you get home with regular water.
He said, you get home, go out there, like when you coming in, stop out there when they're coming in, get the water out of the ocean. That's what you freeze it in.
Yep.
I was like,
I believe that.
I can see that, yeah.
Something about, I don't know if it's the fresh water, the chlorinated water, whatever it is we get, that it comes out of your tap, it'll ruin the meat.
Yeah.
Starts breaking it down. I mean, it's still, to me, it turns fishy too. That's when you get fishy tasting fish.
Yeah, fishy.
It shouldn't
fish
be.
bad.
It should be fresh. Like when we get snapper fresh out of the ocean, man, it's some of the cleanest, best eating fish you can get. And you go home and you freeze it and come back try to eat it a month later.
It's not.
It ain't near the same. Yeah.
Oh no, we went to guys deep sea fishing down his house and he done grilled grouper. Man, I thought that was the best meat ever.
Yeah.
So I brought some home. It was
work.
It was fish of the sea. It was bad.
Yeah.
probably my worst. I got two. One of them, it's a common mistake. People want to turn deer meat into bratwurst, and I ain't had one yet.
No, I don't
It
like
has that flavor just don't go, does it?
It
I like
tastes-
a deer sausage now.
Yeah, deer sausage is fine, but something they do with the bratwurst, I don't know if it's a curing or what they do.
They put a sock in it.
They,
when make
it
a
tastes
thing.
like wet gym socks.
Yeah, it's that old sour. It's that sour flavor.
Yes, it is. But that's not my worst. I remember when I was a kid, Kerrigan at deer camp, when I was a little bitty, was going to cook deer steaks on a grill. So to start off, I guess he'd done watch Emerald Live that week.
Emerald Live.
He'd poured a whole bottle of red wine off in a Ziploc bag with deer meat. And I thought it was red wine. No, it was red wine vinegar.
Ooh.
He probably
He probably thought it was red wine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get out there. He's marinated. And he pulls it out, and it looks like beets. I mean, this deer meat is purple. And I was like, all right, I was a kid. I didn't know. I was watching him cook, So then he gets over to the grill, and that's where it really gets bad. We're out of lighter fluid. So he goes over to the campfire and gets some of the old burnt motor oil to get the charcoal.
No.
I promise you, to get the charcoal going. And Daddy comes over and said, "Don't you eat that deer meat."
Did he eat it?
He did. I tried a bite, and it tastes about like vinegar and 5W30.
You burnt 5W30.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, that is rough there.
But I knew then, don't marinate in red wine or red wine vinegar or whatever that was.
or motor oil.
Yeah, motor oil. It went downhill real quick.
That was operator error. That was all that was. But a bunch of people don't know how to cook game. That's the kicker.
Hey, I'm batting 1,000.
What's the best tip you can give cooking game?
Don't overcook it.
Don't overcook it.
Yeah, especially deer, ducks.
I don't know of any wild game that you would want to. I mean,
Your
maybe
coons and
turkey.
squirrels and stuff like turkey and stuff like that. You don't. I mean, you can cook them too much, but you don't. You don't want to You don't want to cook it just.
I think people just freak out when they get their plate and they see what they think is actual juice, but they call it. This thing's still bleeding. It's got blood all on the plate.
I mean, I want my deer and duck
I want it
bleeding,
Oh,
real.
I do too.
Yeah, I want it juicy.
but
it's not blood.
going to hurt you.
Yeah,
It is not. As long as you've taken care of it.
that's right.
As long as you have taken care of it.
and that's a lot of it too. It starts from the moment you pull the trigger. That's going to decide how that deer is going to taste.
From the processing to how you put it up.
Yeah, 8 hours
you
in bed,
cook
a
it.
truck riding, showing your buddies ain't
Yeah,
good for deer meat.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
when
right.
the legs get stiff.
Yeah.
You
better
done
be
went
doing
too long.
So that was something too that I've kind of read up on and learned and never really thought about it. And we've always talked about we want to get a walk-in freezer and let the deer hang.
Right.
And I can't remember who it was talking about it. It probably again was Meat Eater. I'm a pretty big fan, but they said that until that deer goes through the full rigor mortis cycle, do not cut the meat off the bone.
I've heard that.
They say because once it's still on the bone, that meat draws up. The bone's actually still holding that meat. So instead of it allowing it to draw up, it actually tears the muscle fibers and makes it more tender. But then if you remove it off the bone and it's not done that rigor mortis, it draws up into a ball and all the muscle fibers are tight.
They're short.
Yeah, it's nothing to hold them.
You cut them free. You cut them free, so they went back together like a
Yep.
rubber band.
I mean, it makes sense.
So that's why the dry brining helps because it relaxes some of that stuff when you put it in. I guess that's why people marinate sometimes to try to use some of the acids and some of the ingredients you're using, the salts and stuff to relax it. But there's something about like when you harvest that animal, it's got a lot of lactic acid in it, and it needs to go through that stage of rigor mortis of breaking down and letting that stuff go. It tenderizes it from the inside, And but the thing is, you got to have it controlled temps, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. You don't have a way to duplicate that.
Yeah, you can do it up.
You can do it on ice to a certain point.
Yeah,
when you leave it
you just
as
don't need
whole
it
as you
in
can.
the ice.
Yeah. You got to have. Yeah, it's got to be cool. You got to have a way for water to get off of it.
Yeah, that's what I found out is leaving it cooler with the ice and ice water, that draws the blood out, and to me it freezer burns quicker. I think
because water's in the meat now.
Yeah.
It gives it off taste.
Well, I mean, it's like dry aging steaks. Like you've done it, and it makes it when you have the time to put it on a rack, put it in a refrigerator that you're not going to open, keep it a certain temperature. That process starts, even though you've quartered it. It's still on the bone for the most part, and you can do it that way. But you got to think, if you don't have room, if you don't have a cooler big enough to hang it up in, a lot of people don't have time to do it. I mean, you got to come up with other ways. So I think that's why the refrigerator quartered is one of the
leave it
easy
attached
ways
to the bone as long as you can.
As long as you can.
I think it says from the moment of harvest to it's fully complete, it's like 36 hours ish is how long it takes for the full rigor mortis process to be done.
So if y'all ever in the wintertime, have y'all ever hung any or been around some old timers and hang them all the time?
They didn't always.
They'll hang them 2 or 3 days. I mean,
the guy going to your place that shed, he's got to be expert because he'll have deer hanging from
every
80-degree weather down
Joey's
to 20.
There.
Yeah, I don't know how I would be scared of that.
I mean, Daddy always said 40, 45 degrees below is fine, but
I wouldn't leave them hanging above 40. I wouldn't want them to.
I've seen that guy at 70 degrees have them hung up.
You got to figure it out. I mean,
not leaving them constantly, not leaving them. You think overnight?
Yeah,
that thing. We've rode by one weekend, and the next weekend it was still hanging there.
I think that's other deer.
We hope it might be other deer.
I think they just stringing them up.
Come give us lessons if you listen.
It was pretty dark. It was almost black.
Yeah.
Not like this kind of rolls into our next subject. You're talking about dry aging. Me and Jamie we've cooked several wild game contests. Because that's kind of our background, was competing in food cooking, and somebody, hey, you want to cook a wild game contest? Yeah, sure, let's go for it. And that's when I first dry aged a backstrap, and you'd swear up and down it was beef loin. I mean, it was done it for about 7.
The texture of it got super tender.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I mean, people got to understand when it dry ages, outside's ugly. I mean,
you got to shave it off.
Yeah,
it's not rotten meat; it's just dried.
It's letting it age out.
So walk through the process of like dry aging. So when you dry age it, you did that one for what, 30 days?
No, I've only done deer up to like 7 or 10 days.
Okay.
I didn't use like the dry age bags. I basically done just like you said. I killed a deer that Saturday, cleaned it up, left all the silver skin, left as much on that backstrap as you can, put it in the refrigerator on a pan or on a cooling rack in a pan, and just let it go.
But when you pull it out, then what?
Shave it, take all that dark off, and expose the meat. Yep.
And it's red meat at that point.
And then all I done then is sprinkled a little bit of coarse ground sea salt on it, let it sit about 5 hours, cook it.
Dry brined it with sea salt?
Because I don't know what it does. I mean, I know it absorbs and kind of starts the brining process. It makes the meat sweat and then pulls that moisture back in. But to me, it brought the. I mean, it's already red when it comes out of the dry brine, but that salt makes it even redder. I mean, it does something to it.
But in the refrigerator, you leave it's in a pan, but it's in the open air.
Yep, open air. You want airflow all the way around.
And it's on a rack. Yeah, you want it raised up to where air can
goes on around or something to get air space on the bottom.
You don't want it to have a solid surface to where it can sit in its juice, and then it'll sour. You basically have to have airflow around it, or get those dry aged bags. They do work. They're a little finicky, but they do work.
Yeah. Or get you a dry aged fridge.
Yeah, get you a dedicated fridge.
Yeah.
And
I guess all it does is control the humidity. Mm-hmm. That's what it does. You got to be able to control that.
If you really want to get into it, I mean, you can buy salt bricks to put in your fridge. Like if you had a dedicated fridge for the wintertime, you can buy different salt bricks that's supposed to impart salt and flavor to the meat as it's dry aging. They got smoked salt bricks. They got rosemary salt bricks. They got all different ones that are meant for dry aged freezers.
You lay the meat on those, or is
no?
it
You just put it around it.
Oh, really?
So like a real dry aged freezer, the whole wall of it's lined in salt.
I didn't know that.
And it's supposedly the salt kills the bacteria and all that good stuff. But
we need to do a couple of dry age tests.
Yeah, see which one works best. What days?
I don't think it. I'm not a fan of the long ones. We've tried it,
Yeah, with beef. I never
beef,
tried
it don't really shine. I think your leaner cuts it does better on.
Y'all did it on brisket, didn't you?
I've wet aged a brisket, but I've never dry aged one. I've cooked a dry aged brisket, but it wasn't. It ain't nothing like we're cooking now.
See, I don't know if you could wet age deer like that. If you had a way to sanitary environment and get it cryovac where you knew nothing was in there, you could probably wet age it.
Down at the shed, we ain't got that environment.
We ain't got that, yeah. If you just vacuum sealed it and threw it in the refrigerator, it ain't going to last that long.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
Is that all y'all got?
Yeah.
No more recipes we want to talk about?
About it.
Well, I know we had talked about, we've done, how many episodes is this, Tyler? 17 this season?
17.
It's time. We've got our real jobs where we barbecue. We got a big one coming up Memphis in May, so we're going to take some time off from Buck Junkies and let these summer plots get up a little bit and
get some fish in the freezer.
Get some fish maybe in the freezer and come back here in a few weeks. And so if y'all missed us, we ain't gone. We'll be back with, I guess, start of season 2 here before long. But if you got any questions or anything, you can always still send them to us.
Yeah, and we'll still be posting on Facebook. We'll keep y'all in the loop. A lot of this, like Mikey said earlier, this is new to us too. So we're just taking y'all along for the adventure and kind of see how it goes.
That's right.
I've had a good time though.
Heck yeah. It's been a good season.
Yeah. We ain't even got started yet.
Now, yeah, the best part, we're getting ready for next year's hunting season. So new rules and regulations. Y'all see they got a new velvet season they're talking about letting private land do in Mississippi? It's in September. It's like the middle of September for a weekend.
With rifle?
Bow only.
Oh.
It's a good way to go
well,
get
Tennessee already has that.
I'm going to pass
that one. Yeah, me too.
September in Mississippi is still 90 degrees.
That's what I said.
Degrees.
What would you do with that? Talking about that meat, what would you do with that meat?
Work fast.
Oh, yeah. You better be going
better get it cool. You better get everything out of it, get that cavity opened up, get some ice in it.
Shoot, that thing's going to be eat up with ticks.
No joke.
Put a chicken in your vest. Let the chicken peck him off before you get there.
Some guineas go.
Yeah.
You better not throw it up in the truck and try to go, if you got a Tahoe or something like throw it up in the back of that thing, you got to fumigate your car.
You're going to get to that rigor mortis stage a little quicker than you want.
You won't be able to eat beef next year. You watch.
But we'll be back. We'll talk about that sometime next week. Come back season 2. And like Mark said, if you need to find us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
TikTok, YouTube, all the platforms for podcasts, we're there.
We are there. So we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, listening to us, and we'll see y'all next time. We gone.